say be facts, man. Like,
hey YouTube, what's poppin'? You already know who's dropping. This time we're gonna shake things up a little, and in this one we're gonna be talking about the difference between rebound love and healthy love, how to tell them apart, and a few other relative subjects like what can actually be considered toxic and whatnot. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. Rebound love. It's a name I came up with myself that basically describes what someone feels when they just get out of a toxic relationship or have a bad breakup, and someone they trust, or at the very least know pretty well, swoops in and immediately pressures you into a relationship with them. This is not okay. Rebound love is when you think this is a good idea to get in a relationship with this person. Because why not, right? You got nothing to lose at that point. Wrong. You definitely still have a lot to lose. Just because you may feel like you're at your lowest point doesn't mean you actually are. This trusted person will plant their seed by doing and saying things before and after your breakup in order to make themselves seem like the best candidate for your new significant other. To be your new significant other. They'll basically make sure they're the person you vent to about your relationship problems. And when you do, they'll paint your current partner in the worst light they can to sow seeds of resentment within you. So they might call your partner all types of names and say, yeah, I'd never do that to you, or you deserve better. Which may be true, but an actual friend will give you advice that's more thought-provoking than condemning. Really, what you're going through with your partner may just be bumps in the road, or the big fight you had may be like a misunderstanding. So each situation is different, of course. Sometimes these bumps in the road are actually huge red flags that you should peel out of that relationship. However, your friends should guide you to follow your own intuition and prior knowledge instead of damning your relationship at every turn, especially when they probably never met your partner before. It's just speaking from prior experience that these things can't happen, and I've seen them happen to too many people in my life. So I just feel like this is appropriate video, especially for my generation, to just kind of, help them understand that this is an actual thing that happens, and that it can easily be confused with something real. Not to say that something like this can't end up being real off a rebound, but it's not really. Most of the time it's not really gonna work out like that, So like I said, your friends should be looking out for you and not trying to tear your relationship down. That's not what real friends do, regardless of whether they like you in that way and want to get with you or not. It's just not an appropriate thing to do, because you're basically destroying that person's emotional view on things and making it seem like whatever choice they made or whatever reasons they had to get into a relationship with that person were just totally invalid and wrong. And you're kind of reshaping their entire emotional state to think how you want them to think, which is incredibly manipulative. So, like I said though, rebound love can easily be mistaken for something more serious because you experience this when you're most vulnerable. Your emotions are likely looking for a glimmer of hope in your dismal romantic void that your only source of romantic stimulation has gone. So if you're someone that hates being alone, this is especially true. But this is what rebound gods prey on. Your breakup is their moment to snag you off the market before you have a chance to think with your brain instead of your damaged heart. So rebound gods aren't necessarily evil for what they're doing. They may really have an interest in you and want to make you happy. But pressuring you, yes, that's exactly what they're doing. Can't nobody tell me different. Pressuring you into a relationship when you're weak and dependent is arguably unethical and probably not something a true friend should ever do. And this person is in a position now to paint themselves as borderline perfect in your eyes, as they were there for you when you needed to vent, convinced you that they're nothing like your ex, hate your ex just as much as you do, and are doing everything in their power to cheer you up now that you're single and hurting. This in itself isn't toxic per se, but it is definitely a form of emotional manipulation. They're covering up all the things that might usually deter you from seeing this person as a long-term partner by sugaring up their personality for you as long as it takes to get you hooked. So soon you're addicted, and when their facade melts away, you see all their character flaws as things you can work on or get over eventually, instead of the absolute turnoffs that they actually are. So some people catch on to this early and slide out, but way more people than not stay in the relationship for much longer, letting it slowly eat away at their emotional state and conscience. Not all rebounds turn out like this. I'd say a smooth 13% of all rebounds turn out to be mutually healthy relationships, but most of them are detrimental to the reboundee. The friend that you held so dear for so long has moved their way into a part of your life that they were probably never meant to touch because you were too lonely and heartbroken to stop them at the door. This is why it's important to catch this early, either while you're still with your current partner, currently grieving a breakup, or already with the Rebound God. The sooner you decipher the true intentions of everyone in your life, the less of a chance you have of getting seriously hurt down the road, and the more time you have to properly decide what actions to take without external pressures. Healthy love, on the other hand, should probably be a much shorter conversation, but me trying to cover all the bases like I usually do, it probably won't be. But love, contrary to popular belief, is displayed and received in a lot of different ways. So there's no real way to tell if someone loves you or not based on a specific list or criteria. However, one important thing to remember is that love is shown, not spoken. If someone is treating you how you don't want to be treated but claiming to love you, either they don't love your ass, or that's not the type of love you're looking for. The key is to find someone who will make you happy and be happy doing that, and you don't have to break your spine to make them happy as well. So someone who is truly in love with you will just want to be with you. That's it. That means if you take away everything that y'all do and just have each other, they don't want to be anywhere else. It's not the sex, or your appearance, or how you talk, or what you have in common, or because you're their type, or vice versa. It's them being in love with you and no one else, and the same for you. And I think it's possible to be attracted to multiple people for various reasons, but it's less likely that you'll be in actual love with more than one person. Love also doesn't just fall off a cliff. Plenty of people catch themselves saying the L word dumb early and eventually find the flame dying out over time. That more or less indicates that you found something about this person that fascinated you, and now that you've spent enough time with them, it's not that new and exciting anymore. And just in case you don't get it by now, it wasn't love. Is it possible to love someone in different ways? Yes. Is it possible to be addicted to someone without actually being in love? Absolutely. Is it possible to love someone in one way and mistake it for an everlasting romantic love? 100%. For example, if you really miss someone when they're not with you, but they kind of annoy you when they're with you, you're probably spending time with them in a capacity or manner you shouldn't be. Especially if you just started a relationship with this person and now you're feeling these effects when you never felt them while you were friends. This goes back to how rebound love is dangerous. This is how friends claw their way out of the friend zone. They're meant to stay your friends because you subconsciously see things that you don't want to deal with in a relationship. Rebounding allows them to blur the line between being a good friend and being a heroic romantic reboot. Most healthy love doesn't start this way, so it's easy to associate different attractions with something like love. If you're sexually attracted to this person, they're your type, they make you happy, they have redeeming qualities, and the big one, you love to be around them. Yeah, sound good. But all these factors sound a lot like love when combined. But just because they're a great sexy person doesn't mean that they're the one. Not always anyway. And lastly, toxicity. I don't really care to talk about this because the word is so commonly launched around that it pretty much describes anything that makes people uncomfortable. But here we are. Relationship toxicity is when a partner constantly controls another by any means in order to fulfill their own selfish desires. It's really simple. If your partner is constantly doing or saying things to convince you that they love you even though they don't show it, and that you won't be happy or successful if you leave them, that's toxic. If they call you a bitch a couple times a day, that's not toxic. It's just rude and demeaning. Now, if they use that or other words as a means of control or manipulation, then we're definitely drifting into the toxic side of the spectrum. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and go through every example of toxicity imaginable because there's just too many ways to manipulate the human mind, especially a vulnerable or traumatized one. But the point is clear. If you see patterns in your relationship that pertain to you getting reeled back into a situation you don't like, or a relationship you want to get out of, chances are you're with a toxic douchebag. Simple. But yeah, that's really all I got for now. This is the first video I actually wrote a script for, and I definitely see the benefits of doing so. If y'all like stuff like this, I'll do as many as you like, just giving my perspective and insight on real life problems and situations for people of all backgrounds and upbringings. Make sure to sub to the channel because I make funny content also. I'm trying to be regular with this, but that full-time job shit got me on tombstone out here. So be sure to like it up if you like and dislike if you don't. I really don't give a. But y'all have a good one. I'm out this piece. Later.